I will now request Honorable Justice Arbab Muhammad Tahir from the Islamabad High Court to please join us on the stage for his presentation on exploring ADR in criminal justice system.
चलें जी बिस्मिल्लाह
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ji. Before we start with it ji, this is something new that we'll be doing in ADR. Justice Miagul Hassan Saab, he asked me the other day to join them for this thing, and I said I don't have any expertise in this. I have expertise in criminal side. So why not to do the criminal ADR in criminal trials. So we started working on it, and I only had 2 days to work in it. So for these 2 days, I've come up with some of the ideas that we have already done in Islamabad High Court. We have been doing this for since 2022. Just a little bit of work that we have done in the criminal side. So alternate dispute resolution, I think I don't need to explain anything to you for ADR or mediation or conciliation. You are all stalwarts in all this, Ji, which I'm a beginner. So what we'll do is we'll straight go to the criminal cases. Speedy trial, essence of the criminal justice system, Article 37D of the Constitution states that state shall ensure inexpensive and expeditious justice, easy and accessible remedy to persons accused of petty criminal offences. Now this is the most important aspect of it, that it should be a pretty petty criminal offences. That's what we are going to start with at our initial stages, which we have already started in Islamabad with the IG Islamabad. It will come up traditional justice, victim offender mediation. That is one part of it, Ji. Guiding offenders to mend the injury done by them and reintegrate them into community. Pre-trial ADR. This is one of the aspects of the criminal trial that will be ADR that we'll be doing, which we have already done in few cases in Islamabad. Role of prosecutors. UN guidelines, the role of prosecutors adopted by the 8th National Congress on the Prevention of Crime and Treatment of Offenders 1990, which is very relevant, which should be adopted by us here as well. We have prosecutor general offices in all the provinces. We never had it in Islamabad, but now we have the 2023 enactment of prosecution. So we'll be appointing, the Federation will be appointing a prosecutor general in Islamabad as well. So their role, prosecutors' roles are very crucial in these cases, Ji. As per the national law, prosecutors shall consider waiving prosecution, discontinuing proceedings conditionally. All the prosecutor general, the enactments in all the provinces, which Sindh also has, KP has, Balochistan has, and we have in 2023 we have it in Islamabad as well. The role of police investigating officers, IOs, to persuade parties to opt for the jurisdiction's ADR mechanism. For this, definitely we need to train them for this mediation and conciliation proceedings that has to take before lodgement of FIR. We have done cases before lodgement of FIR. We have notified some 22 police stations in 8 districts of Islamabad. We have already decided more than 700 cases. 765 cases were referred to these police stations, inexpensive and early resolution of disputes, especially the petty offences. Different mechanism for ADR in criminal justice system. Definitely this has to be adopted. Plea bargain, pre-trial negotiation for lesser punishment. We have plea bargain in NAB ordinance, we have plea bargain, but not in other laws. So for this we need enactments in our CRPC, in Pakistan Penal Code. We need all these to be incorporated there. Victim offender mediation, face-to-face meeting of victim and offender in structured sittings, which will be through mediation processes. Family group conferencing, majorly in New Zealand, where families of victim and offender sit to resolve the dispute amicably. Victim offender panels to address victims' loss and reform offenders. So these are all parts of the criminal law that we'll be doing. Community crime prevention, social institutions aimed at reducing crime rate, community service to rehabilitate the offender. Around the globe, we have this in Canada, section 7.82E of the Canadian Criminal Code. All available sanctions other than imprisonment that are reasonable in the circumstances should be considered for all offenders. United States of America, we have plea bargain, instant part of the American criminal justice system. Over 90%, the numbers that are being decided here are really over 90% of the criminal cases settled under the plea bargain. Victim Offender Reconciliation Program Information and Resource Center, they have already this in place, which we need to work on. Approach to bring offenders face to face with the victims with assistance of mediator community volunteers. Australia statutory based schemes focusing on conferencing. Crimes Retrospective Justice Act 2004 focuses on development and reintegration of offenders. India, this is something which the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Santa Act 2023 chapter such deals with the plea bargaining in offences having punishment less than 7 years. For us, we already have compounding of offences under the ADR Act 2017. We have section 14 of it, which deals with offences which are compoundable. In Pakistan Penal Code, we already have this in Islamabad. I don't know if other provinces, we have them in shape of Musaliyat councils, which we'll be referring to. Islamic criminal justice system, Sulah prescribed by Quran, Sunnah and Ijma by attending places of disagreement and put an end to bitterness between parties, compoundable offences. Loss of life or bodily injury is taught in Islamic law, which can be qisas, retribution in cases of intentional act, diyat, compensation, and of total and unconditional pardon. Legal framework in Pakistan, in different provinces, we'll be looking at it. In Islamabad Capital Territory, we have ADR Act 2017, Section 8, reference to ADR before legal proceedings. So this is what we'll be looking at. In Islamabad, we are already working on this. Parties apply to the court or ADR center, which shall refer the matter to the neutral or any person agreed upon by the parties. We have already notified neutrals, some 60 plus neutrals. The ICT has already notified them as neutrals in different police stations, and they are working there. Court defined in the Act as a court, any tribunal kozai. Section 14 ADR is the compoundable offences, where we'll be working for compounding of all these offences. Upon taking cognizance of a compoundable offence, court may appoint neutral or any other person with the consent of the parties to facilitate compounding. Compounding must be done with the consent of the parties. Upon failure, court to proceed with the trial. But in Punjab, we have this ADR Act 2019 provides system for alternate dispute resolution in civil and criminal matters. Section 4 court to refer cases of compoundable offences to ADR with the consent of the parties. Punjab Local Government Musaliyat Anjuman Rules 2006. Rule 5, on the request of any party or upon reference of the court, Musaliyat Anjuman is to summon the party. These Anjumans were really active at some time, somewhere back in 2009 when we were in practice. They were really doing these petty offences. They were solving all these issues. But I don't know, since the non-local body elections, therefore these Musaliyat councils have stopped working. The dispute is referred to be kind of civil and criminal both. Balochistan Local Government Act 2010, Section 82, encouragement of amicable settlement of disputes. Musaliyat Anjuman, while resolving a dispute referred to, shall have regard to the scope of compounding offences provided in the Criminal Procedure Code. Compoundable offences, these are all compoundable offences in the CRPC Pakistan Penal Code, which every one of you is aware. These are all compoundable. This is a list of compoundable offences which we have there. We have some new additions to this, 509, 494, 486. They are also compoundable now. Practice in Islamabad Capital Territory. Chief Commissioner ICT established ADR centers at multiple police stations of the ICT with a notification dated such and such. Implementation of Act of 2017. We have already notified these ADR centers by the Chief Commissioner Islamabad. And IG Islamabad has appointed neutrals of ADR centers with a notification dated. It was just the other day we notified these when I started working on it. So we did this 9th of May 2024 for smooth functioning of these centers. In the last 2 years, the ADR centers successfully disposed of 727 cases out of 764, which amounts to 95%. These are all PT offenses, family issues, some 489F cases and all that stuff, you know. These were all solved by 727 cases. These were not even trained neutrals. These were the police officers that we got from, on deputation from Sindh, but they were trained neutrals. Well, not trained in the sense that they were trained, but they were working here in CPLC. So they were kind of trained neutrals. Appointment of neutrals, this is the notification, G. So this was an overview of what we did in Islamabad without any legal framework, but now definitely we'll be framing rules, amend the existing laws, or enact new legislation to avoid ambiguity. Now, these are the recommendations that we have. Indicate type of crime to be resolved through ADR as done by India, encouraging police office and courts to promote, implement ADR, specific rights and duties of parties involved in the process of ADR, adopt victim offender model that is being practiced, encourage pre-trial resolution. That's what we were doing. Islamabad High Court has framed the mediation practice direction civil rules 2023. We'll be following this model, and now we'll be framing the mediation practice directions criminal as well, G, to regulate mediation in civil disputes in the presence of the said precedent. Rules be framed to provide a mechanism for the smooth application of Section 14 of ADR Act 2017 in criminal cases as well. Guidelines as to expected outcomes of the ADR. And that's it. Thank you, Ji. This was a very short thing. I have prepared it in 2 days, you know. So this is what we were doing in Islamabad. So inshallah, we'll be doing it further as well. Thank you, Ji. Thank you.